Welcome back, everyone, to today's episode of Sleep Detectives, where Beck and I, your favourite sleep consultants, it's us in all our glory doing what we do best, which is answering your burning baby sleep questions. And Beck and I have not discussed these today. I mean, full transparency, we very rarely discuss these. Sometimes if we see a juicy one, we'll have a quick chat. But yeah. So if it's short, if it's clunky, if it's long-winded, you'll know that we've just not prepared. So, all right, let's...
No. We may be prepared. We just know the answer really quickly. And we just know...
That's it.
Yeah. If it feels short and blunt, it just doesn't need a lot of explanation. How about we go with that?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, okay.
We do know what we're talking about. We just haven't pre-gamed for this episode.
That's right.
All right, Beck. I'm going to throw you under the bus with the first question.
Okay,
11-month-old on transitional schedule, 30 minutes, 9:30 nap, plus a 2-hour 1 p.m. nap. Why does your plan have nap 1 at 10 a.m.?
Oh, I feel like I'm on this sort of game show, like quick fire, like they have a real hard think about it, you know? Yeah. I think so this is a quick answer. In terms of like 11 months, we don't want our little ones becoming overtired, so we do start the nap at 9:30 till 10. But as they grow, and you'll probably find this within the next few weeks, usually by the age of 12 months, they need a little bit more awake time in order to fall asleep readily and easily for the first nap. So that's why we then move nap 1 to 10 to 10:30, just so there's enough sleep pressure and they fall asleep easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think, even though this is rapid fire, if your schedule is working for you, it doesn't matter if it's different from ours.
Yeah, you'll just sort of notice. You'll see that it's becoming hard and baby's not falling asleep until like 9:45, in which case you do 9:45 to 10:15, and then, subsequently 10 to 10:30. All good.
Yeah. Okay. 7-month-old happy taking third nap. Amazing. We love to see that. Always keep 4 feeds with 3 naps. Only move to 3 feeds with 2 naps.
Correct.
Yes. And we have an episode which was really popular about how to manage milk feed timings when we make the inevitable nap drop from 3 to 2. I've got all my drop the feeds, drop the naps, 3 to 2 naps, and how we usually consolidate to 3 milk feeds rather than the 4 that we use for the 3 nap schedules. And it's all just about creating balance of increased need for solids as a baby gets older, tanking up for taking bigger, more consolidated naps. What were you about to say, Beck?
I was just going to say, if you're finding it tricky because your little one has multiple feeds overnight, still at 9 months, and you're worried about dropping to 3 feeds through the day, this is a really great opportunity to get a sleep consultant on board who does work in redistributing calories, and that's where we work our magic in terms of building confidence around what to drop, when to drop, how to boost calories in through the day, all the things. So if you're a little bit worried about all of that, we can help.
Yes, I actually was giving a baby sleep talk to a group of lovely first-time mums, and I was explaining how everyone thinks that primarily our job is sleep training techniques, self-settling, but so much of our work is actually around feeds. And when I walked through and actually showed them with an example schedule of how and why I would do this, you could literally hear the gasp of like, oh, yeah, that's why. Yes, that makes sense for what I'm experiencing. Oh, yeah, they haven't been wanting that final feed because dinner was here and I'd already done a feed. So, yes, it really
like
can be beneficial.
Drops.
Yes. And that's our goal always, for that penny to drop so that you understand why you're doing what we recommend. Okay. Do you think there is an 18-month sleep progression? Molars, separation, anxiety, co-sleeping in full force. Listeners will know that Beck and I are usually quite tough crowds with really sort of milestone regressions, that are marked by age base, just because I think regressions can happen at any time for lots of different reasons. I personally do commonly see an 18-month sleep regression. definitely. There is, as always, I think it's usually a perfect storm of lots of different things happening, all of which this mother here has said. And I also think it's commonly seen, it goes hand in hand with some autonomy seeking, like a toddler becoming a toddler, being like, ooh, where is the boundary here? What do I have control over in terms of going to sleep, staying asleep? And that can usually also play a big role in the 18-month sleep progression.
Well, it's very hard because the autonomy and language skills. So being able to dictate, direct, engage, and the big word no.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, and the big set of lungs that go with it.
More, and no are the key words that you'll probably hear at this age, and sort of and using that in conjunction with more books, more cuddles, more drinks, and no mummy, no daddy, those types of things, which pull at the heartstrings, and it really makes you sort of second guess a lot of, what you're trying to achieve and how you're going about doing it. So you can find yourself in quite a bit of a sleep pickle. But we have done an 18-month regression
No, we did
episode.
2 years.
Oh, okay.
We did
Oh,
the
gosh, I
2-year
can't wait to
regression.
do the 18-month one then.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
because
schedule that in.
yeah, so stay tuned for that one because we will go into depth about how that manifests and unfolds and how to get your way out of it, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, excellent.
Exciting.
Consider it. Beck and I always message each other, be like, what are we going to talk about this week? So we're officially adding it to the list, the 18-month sleep progression. But yes, if you're experiencing that, yes, it's real. But to be honest, the way you treat it, so to speak, is by the same way you do it at the 4-month sleep regression. Any regression, you come back to the basics, you review your schedule. Is it age appropriate? You have a look at solids. Is there any still milk overnight that could be taken? Like you just go back to the basics, regroup, get to bedtime, and then work on self-settling or doing less of what you're currently doing if the co-sleeping is no longer working or not what you want to continue with, and you start doing less so that you get back into cot sleep. If not, great self-settling, independent sleep. Okay, excellent. We'll schedule that episode in. Okay. How to tell if too much day sleep or overtired due to overnight wakings at 13 months old. It can sometimes be tricky because a lot of the symptoms of overtiredness and undertiredness can be the same. You could have, if your baby is undertired, they're not going to want to go to bed without a bit of a fight. If they are overtired, they could definitely have some big tears as well. Going to bed, you might have overnight wakings because sleep pressure's run out or they're overtired. Same with early. So I do appreciate that sometimes the symptoms can overlap. This is where the great day schedule and the transitional schedule of the short long is the perfect place to start. If you haven't already listened to our episode on the transitional schedule and dropping from 2 to 1 naps, definitely go and have a listen to that, because once you get on that schedule, and not saying that our schedules are like, no, we should. They are absolutely perfect for every baby. They're brilliant. But what it means is that you go into the night ruling that out already.
This is true. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because it really does. The bedtime and the first half of the night will pretty much play out exactly the same, regardless of if you're undertired or overtired. So overtired would be needing a lot of help initially to fall asleep, and then the cortisol keeps waking baby up because the cortisol, they can't reach a deep phase of sleep, and so they just keep popping awake. Whereas the undertired side of things, they're not tired and ready for sleep, so you have to work really hard to get them off to sleep.
Yes.
But then they don't have the sleep pressure to keep ticking over the sleep cycles in the first. So it looks exactly the same. It can look
very
and feel
tricksy.
the same. It is. So yeah. So that's why wake windows, sleep pressure, sleep drive, all the things are important things that we deal with and micromanage to build your confidence around getting the sweet spot, for sure.
Yeah, and I think, you and I, well, I can only speak for myself. It's very rare that I work with an undertired baby. Usually I'm working with families that have had multiple overnight wakings, short naps, long wake windows, fighting for their lives for weeks to months, if not years sometimes. And so I always also relate it back to parents. If you are tired, if you are this tired on our call, then yes, your baby or toddler gets a nap and gets some reprieve, but they are definitely tired. Their little internal body clock, they don't have the same reserve as us. So chances are there is probably more likely due to overtiredness, but we would need to do a bit of a schedule review.
I'll throw back to one of my clients this week, 5-month-old, as an example of undertired, which again I don't often see. A 5-month-old sleeping beautifully, like loves a nap, but was sleeping for an hour in the morning, 2.5 to 3 hours in the middle of the day, and 45 minutes for third nap, and then like 100,000 dummy replugs overnight, and
Yes,
like
they've maxed out during the day.
and then so the moment we switched to the routine that we would ordinarily put in for a 5-month-old, it's like night and day. The dummy was never the issue. It was just about sleep pressure, and so has been able to link the naps perfectly without dummy replugs, and the nights, sleeping through the night with 2 dummy replugs. Organically, yeah.
Yeah.
So it can be as simple as just creating more sleep pressure, sleep drive, and then also reshaping the day to ensure that you haven't got additional cortisol, which is your overtiredness.
Yes.
So
the other thing I sometimes see with undertired is that your baby will be awake yet mostly content overnight.
Yeah.
You might maybe they even have a bit of a false start in the first half of the night, but they're just awake, hanging out, blowing raspberries, having a play, banging their dummies together, and maybe throughout the night. But often if there is like, red hot crying, I'm usually seeing that more so with overtired, because emotionally they're just significantly more fragile and don't have the capacity to try and calm themselves and soothe themselves back down easily.
This is true. Yep.
So a few things to look out for there. But yes, also could be undertired. All right. How to deal with separation anxiety on previously near perfect sleeper and self-settler at 11 months old.
I'd need more information to be able to attribute any of this to separation anxiety.
Yeah.
I think it's something that's thrown out. I don't want to minimize this parent's thoughts at all around this, but I think just hearing the words near perfect as well, sort of like there must be something else that's sort of happening that is underlying, like in terms of like there must be some sort of challenge that they're facing, and then something else has happened, and then it's almost like a bit of a buzzword that sort of goes on, with the separation anxiety. I don't know how to put it.
No, I understand, because I am in agreement with you, considering the amount of babies that we work with of all sorts of ages and older babies, definitely. And it's very rare for the sleep issue, in my experience, to actually be because of separation anxiety. In saying that, it can look very similar, and you may be experiencing separation anxiety at childcare drop-off and in other ways. And yes, I believe that every sleep is a moment of separation, but there are other ways during the day that you can help sort of prep for this. So moments when you need to go for a wee, you're going to pop your 11-month-old down. You don't have to take them with you. They might be upset about it, but that little teachable moment, oh, look, I always come back, and you can kind of plant these teachable moments throughout the day. You might also have childcare. You will always come back to pick them up. And then it is okay to have a consistent boundary around independent sleep if that is your goal. Where it can get tricky is that if the plan changes, if inconsistency creeps in, what can feel like separation anxiety starts to become if if a baby learns that the longer and harder they cry, the more likely they are to get something different, something new, more proximity, and then it looks like they'll only settle when I'm there, then that can also then become habitualized. And so it's about regrouping about what is the desired goal here at bedtime. If they're a previously great sleeper, near perfect sleeper and self-settler, then those skills are still there. So I'm with you, Beck, that I would be more inclined to think what else has happened. Scheduling, a new habit has crept in. And that's not because anyone has done anything wrong or bad. These habits form so quickly. And at 11 months old, tears can get bigger. They are increasingly aware of the status quo.
Yeah.
And so what is happening here? But that skill set has not disappeared. So I would be regrouping and then doubling down, but making sure that you have moments in the bedtime routine where you absolutely love bomb on that baby, not only for the baby's emotional well-being tank, but also for yours, so that you can then hold steady at bedtime to see it through. You get back on track. And when everyone's well slept, the anxiety, any kind of separation, everyone's capacity to be together, to play, to enjoy each other, to leave, to come back, it all improves. We'll move on to the next one. Okay. When baby is on 2 naps and toddler on 1, how do I cope? I don't want to be home all day. Oh, I know this feeling. We just waiting constantly for one child to wake up and the other child to go to sleep, rinse and repeat all day. The priority for me is always that middle of the day nap for the toddler. Because toddlers are tornadoes and everywhere. I just want to be at home. Yeah, I'd want to always be at home there. This is where I think picking one nap, I'd probably pick the first nap of the day to do on the go. So put baby in the pram, the carrier, or in the car, and you're driving to swimming lessons or the park or to get a baby chino or something. Being home then for toddler nap, and then offering baby a second good nap, which may actually, I'm just thinking, probably overlap a little bit. I mean, I don't know how old this baby is, but if they've had a shorter nap because it was on the go, then chances are it's going to coincide at some point, the second nap, with the toddler's nap, in which case you are hands-free.
I just love the idea of synchronizing schedules so that for parents, so that there is a way to have the toddler and the baby.
It's the holy grail, isn't it?
It really is.
I remember when the stars have aligned with my own, I'm like, oh my God, I've done it.
Yeah. And I quite often do this with families as well who really want to get bedtimes in sync, so like you've got the older toddlers and so forth. It's, it can be a little tricky initially to begin with, but it's the investment, right? So you just, and obviously age will play a factor in how old the baby is and whatnot in terms of like where that, but again, you kind of invest in sort of doing the groundwork to be able to get to eventually having both naps timed perfectly. So you've got that hands-free hour and a half, 2 hours or whatnot in the middle of the day. And then working towards the bedtime routine of being the same. It's carefully planning really from a slightly earlier on so you can move towards the goal, I think, of getting the naps down. So yeah, definitely if it was me, I would be planning to be out and about so that the toddler gets all the energy out in the morning.
Yep.
But baby takes the nap on the go, and then you focus on being home in the middle of the day for the second sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
we
I just
are
rounded
aligned on
that.
that.
Yeah, just totally reiterated your point again. Yeah.
No, I love it because, as we've already said, we don't prepare. So you never know. I could be throwing something out that Beck's like, what on earth is Sally suggesting? Okay, let's do one more. This is a 5-month-old baby. My baby cries as soon as she's put in the cot, and then all caps, does not stop. And a sad face. This is, I'm probably going to skip a few steps here. This is where working with a sleep consultant is going to be a game changer, because there are lots and lots of different reasons that this could be happening. I'd want to know schedules. The main thing that jumps out in my head is, where are we up to with self-settling? Are we trying to do self-settling at 12 o'clock kind of for the first time, when the skill hasn't consolidated at bedtime and overnight? Where are that would be my main question. But this is where we'd need to have more information and doing a full review and creating a plan, because the does not stop doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
We've talked about before that lots and lots of babies, including my own, have a cry as they're going into their room, that, when you're putting the sleeping bag on. I'm sure some like to just have the final word before nap time. Some need to just wind down a bit. That's a non-issue for me, but that does not stop. I'm just wondering, where are we up to with all of this? And also, is it at bedtime? I'm assuming that that's naps, but it could also be for bedtime and overnight, yes, I just need to know more.
There's so many foundational steps, isn't there?
Yes.
There's so many foundational steps to make sure that we've got all those ducks lined up before we even sort of start tackling things. And then there's certain strategies that we use in order to encourage better, naps and so forth, where it's not as relentless as this. And then working with a sleep consultant, we rescue naps. We have a plan for rescuing naps if it's taking too long, and then how we sort of, there's lots of ways that we get through that. So many ways we get through that, but I think it's usually an individualized program, really, like plan. Like when it's that hard, you kind of want to, and you want to get it sorted. Those are the times when you're like, a professional will be able to help you. So that you don't have to think about it. We do all the hard work. We do all the thought process. We create everything in order for it to be optimized, and then you just follow our lead. And then if it's not going right, we fix it for you. We literally fix these things for you.
Yeah, because I'm even just thinking, sometimes it's as simple as, that wake window after nap 3 is way too long. You've had a 30-minute nap and then this really long wake window, and then baby's overtired and is crying. Like, there's so many different ways.
It could be that baby's just had a feed before bed, had a 2-second power snooze, and now is not tired at all.
Yes.
There are reasons for that. There could be, I'm not even kidding, 100 different reasons.
Yeah.
Why that's
But it's
happened.
usually something that jumps out pretty quickly when we read an intake form.
Yeah.
This is where I get excited. I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. That's what, when we hear what happens during the crying. Yeah. So this is where definitely book in with one of us, with a sleep consultant of your choosing, because one of our big jobs is to minimize tears to the best of our ability. And just know that at 5 months old, great sleep is absolutely possible. Excellent. All right. Well, I think that is another episode of Sleep Detectives done.
Done and dusted.
A massive slab of cake next to me with pink icing that is calling my name. I keep thinking, I'll just sneak a bite and then remember I've got a microphone and nobody needs to hear. That is not the ASMR that anyone is signing up for. So that's what I'm off to do. What have you got scheduled, Beck?
This afternoon, footy club stuff. You know me, it's just never ending. So yeah, I'm setting up for a canteen. Anyway,
do your children do cricket? Are we going to hear all about cricket in summer?
No, it's OzTag and touch in summer. Sally, we don't do cricket.
No, we don't.
We had one
cricket.
season of cricket. We had one season of cricket.
Cricket. Is that the song?
Yeah.
I don't like cricket.
Yeah. But can be substituted for we don't play.
We don't play cricket.
Yeah, no. So that's what I've got. But I would like some cake. Maybe I'll have to duck next door to our dessert first and grab one of their cookies.
One day there'll be some AI app where I can just pass you a slab of cake through the screen.
Wouldn't that be
but
so
until
good?
Then, I will eat it.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. We will see you on the next episode of Nap Trapped. Bye.
See ya.